Alright, hi. This video is just a quick run-through of a graphics library written back circa 1995 through 99, and an associated application here in beta mode, about 99 for the application. Just for historical reference, show some of the different features of it. So everything that you see on the screen is being rendered by the C library with no calls to any sort of application native stuff and no use of any hardware acceleration. So every pixel on here is being rendered from scratch just by the C code. And you can see that it's very smooth, and it's a different style of the way that the rendering is handled is a different order than most systems use. So I won't get into the details, but just some of the features. You can see how selection works. It's a highlighter style selection, and you can navigate around in the usual way. It has transparent dragging, and you can see animations continue underneath the transparencies. Reordering stuff is very straightforward. You can put things where you want them, etc., etc. Again, it's all very fluid. And what else? Again, all the buttons and things are done with the library itself. So it's all completely themable. This one's a really boring theme because it was in the process of being moved to a Windows-like appearance. Here's some snapshots of previous versions, incarnations of the theme. There's one. It's basically the same theme. Here's a more wild exploration of what you can do with the theming. So you'd had rounded edges of all sorts of shapes that you can use anywhere, transparent hierarchical menus. This little thing would turn the whole background of the window transparent. This is actually the cursor. This cursor that I'm moving around right now is the only thing that isn't rendered by my code. But in the actual older live system, the cursor itself was also rendered that way and could be transparent and interact, etc., etc. So let's come back to here. So I'll just jump into the 3D stuff now. So again, all the 3D is rendered without any hardware acceleration. Things to note: in a system like Quake, which came out a year after this, or at least after the first public release of this graphics engine, would take the ground and tile it up into pieces so that the tiles could be popped into different resolutions. Gets a bit technical here, but they're called MIP levels to avoid anti-aliasing issues or aliasing issues of textures as it goes further into the background. This is actually one solid polygon, and the MIP transitions are happening on the fly as it renders the polygon, and that also happens in vertical surfaces, angled surfaces, anything. So there's no popping of the textures as they pop from one level to another, so it's much smoother. Frame rate seems to be comparable to or better than Quake, which was out at the time. Right now I have the lighting off. This is kind of what you would see in a typical like Second Life rendering that's out popular today, where you have all these polygons that are just done in textures and whatnot. What you can do here, I'll go back to preferences, you can, where do we go? Show hidden objects. So, and you're hearing the sound of the torches there. There's 3D sound, but unfortunately the way this video is being recorded, you probably can't get the 3D effect. But these boxes are light sources, actually, that are being placed in the scene. There's some other ones here that have orientation to them. Those are probably cameras that were used for something. And once you place light sources, then you can use light maps, and it actually do radiosity filling of the scene. And you can see it gives it a completely different feel. I mean, this is really one of the hallmarks of the engine that gives it an artistic sense that I think is missing in most of the other 3D worlds that are out there. Obviously, a lot of the games have this kind of look, but this was a system that people could use to build their own worlds online and publish them easily. It was very easy to build a world, and you literally just place some light sources like those three boxes and push a button, and you get this kind of effect. So it was really quite easy to make very pretty worlds. And there were a lot of very gorgeous worlds that were made with this, and they've mostly been lost in history, which is why I'm making this video right now, to try to show what was done before it's gone forever. Alright. Down. So you get the idea, and I'll show, let's see, one other, I think I have another image that gives you a sense of what you can do, another thing you can do with the lighting. So this is a snapshot of someone else's world here. So this one was actually 3D navigable as well, and you can see there's this atmospheric effect that was also done in real time by the software renderer, and people did some pretty neat stuff with it. So, and now let me take you to a different world. I'm going to pop this open, missed that, because I actually need the text here. We'll go to navigation. Let's go to avatars, actually. So I want to make sure I'm not wearing that when I hop in for complicated reasons. So there's a few bugs because this was a beta version and things were a moving target. But let's go to bookmarks. So this world is meant to be a demo of what you can do with the scripting. The previous one, the torches, were the first test actually of using JavaScript in a world. So now we're in this world that we seem to be stuck in a tunnel. And this was just to test a bunch of different things that you could do with the JavaScript. So here it's telling me that I should try this avatar on. So we'll go over to avatars and we'll put that on, and it's a little VR suit, and when you put on the VR suit, things start happening in the world. And that's actually not supposed to start moving right away. That's one of the bugs. So that's how it actually is supposed to start. And it's taking me up the chamber here. And another bug is that it just keeps going, and it'll squish me into the ceiling. So I have to hop off as soon as I can. And I'll just go forward into this little space. Uh-oh, there we go. Okay. And there it goes into the ceiling. Blop. Okay, so I'm now in this standing on precariously on the edge here, and you saw it said zag not on the ceiling. That was a little clue. So you try zag not, and it says, hey, there's something in my control panels. And I come here, and if we'd been here earlier, this wouldn't have been here, this slider at all. So now I do that, and you can see it moves the concrete wall here. Now none of this is lit. This could all look much prettier if I use the dynamic lighting, but this again was just a demo of things that I could do with the JavaScript. So this is really the first test world for what could you do with the JavaScript. And here's a rock. This wasn't actually working yesterday, but I'm glad I figured this out. You can pick up the rock and wander around with it, and of course you can aim it and throw it. And I'll not bore you with too much of that, but let's take it with us. So of course one wonders, well, what happens if you slide this a different place, and you can actually get pushed around through the chamber with it. And show up here. Oh, we have the JAWS sound. That wasn't working yesterday. Alright, let's get rid of that for the moment. Alright, so there's this hall, and what's this? It's a mirror, so you can see yourself there in the mirror. And we can run down the hall, and that's just another mirror. This is the Hall of Mirrors. And we can run and run and run and run, and in fact, eventually you get bored of this and you say, okay, that's not going anywhere, let's turn around. Oh, we're right where we were. So of course a little puzzle there. Not too hard of a puzzle. We just pick up the rock and take out the mirror. And now our Hall of Mirrors lets us get to the end, which doesn't have much but a couple of clues. So we have Zagnot, which is that's the slider here, and this other mysterious clue Zuba, so we'll have to remember that. So let's run back, hop in here, and let's try out Zagnot 1.5. Well, the slider only seems to go from 0 to 1, but the user interface you can type, so it's a little hidden feature. And there's a doohickey we can click on there. It says drag it to see this full-size version. So here it is, full size. And I'll just show you what that's for rather than making people guess. So we can take that back into here, and of course it looks pretty similar to that, doesn't it? So I was just playing with the transparent drag, and you can sort of see that it says Zorp. Alright, so we have Zorp. What was the other one? Zua. Alright, let's try Zorp. Zorp. There it goes. So another interesting thing about the render, again, these polygons that you're looking at are single polygons. The ceiling is all one polygon. Doesn't mean much to most people, but usually things are broken up into smaller pieces for various reasons. That hole in the wall is actually a convex cutout, so it's a complex polygon, single complex polygon for that whole wall. But we'll get to that in a second. All right, so the question is, how do we get across? And maybe just a leap of faith. Let's open this up a bit. Oops. Alright, there we are. And you can possibly recognize this little island with the 3 steps as the visual part of that clue from earlier, so we'll just type in Zuba and see what happens. So there's this little slider there, and oh, what's this? Looks like a dragonfly. So the dragonfly actually flies with helicopter type dynamics. So there's a little AI in it that has a target location, and the target's based on this slider. And based on that target, it controls helicopter type controls to fly it around. So it's physical simulation is actually being used to move it. It keeps the motion fairly natural. And he's waiting for us to get out of his way. probably something about never turning your back to a dragonfly, but it makes the transition a little less jarring when you hop on. Uh-oh.